My beloved child. There is someone on your heart right now, and I know exactly who they are. I know the memories you still carry. I know the questions you still ask when no one else can hear you. I know the nights when you tried to act strong, but your heart kept circling back to the same person, the same connection, the same unfinished story. You may have tried to move on. You may have told yourself not to care anymore. You may have even convinced others that you are over it. But I know the truth hidden underneath your silence. I know that part of your heart still wonders if they think about you, if they regret what happened, if they want to return, and if this chapter is truly over. So listen carefully, my child, because this message is not random. The person you love wants to return, but fear is stopping them. There are emotions in them they have not fully escaped. There are memories they cannot fully silence. There are moments when your absence becomes louder than they expected. There are times when they replay what happened, what they said, what they failed to say, and how quickly something meaningful slipped into confusion, distance, or silence. They may not show it openly. They may not admit it. They may even act as if they have moved on. But behind that outer image, there is unrest. Because when a connection touches the heart in a real way, distance does not always erase it. Time does not always bury it. Silence does not always heal it. Sometimes silence only delays the confrontation with truth. Sometimes space only makes a person realize what they mishandled. Sometimes losing access to someone's presence reveals the value of what was once taken for granted. My child, the person you love has not been able to escape the weight of this connection as easily as they pretend. They have thought about reaching out. They have imagined what they would say. They have wondered if you would respond. They have questioned whether too much damage has already been done. They have felt the pull to come closer, but something inside them keeps fighting against it. And that something is fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of accountability. Fear of having to explain their silence. Fear of facing the hurt they caused. Fear of discovering that you may no longer be waiting. Fear of being seen too clearly. Fear of wanting something real and not knowing how to carry it well. My child, many people assume that if someone is silent, they do not care. But that is not always the full truth. Sometimes silence is not the absence of feeling. Sometimes silence is the result of emotional immaturity, unresolved wounds, and fear so strong that it paralyzes action. Some people would rather hide than explain. Some would rather avoid than apologize. Some would rather stay distant than risk hearing the truth about the pain they caused. Some would rather live with regret than face the discomfort of accountability. That does not make their behavior healthy. That does not make silence acceptable. That does not mean you should excuse confusion, inconsistency, or neglect. But it does mean this: their inability to act with courage is not the same as not feeling anything at all. The person you love has been wrestling internally. Part of them wants to come closer. Part of them wants to hear your voice again. Part of them misses the comfort they felt with you. Part of them knows they mishandled something valuable. Part of them is curious whether there is still a door open. Part of them wants another chance. But another part of them is afraid. Afraid that you have changed. Afraid that you see them differently now. Afraid that they waited too long. Afraid that if they come back, they will have to admit what they really feel. Afraid that if they apologize, they will expose how deeply this has affected them. Afraid that if they try again, they may fail again. Afraid that if they let themselves love honestly, they will lose control of the walls they have spent years building. My child, some people do not know how to return to what they hurt. Not because they do not care, but because returning requires humility. It requires truth. It requires the willingness to admit, I handled this badly. It requires the courage to face the possibility that the other person may no longer trust you. It requires emotional maturity to say, I know my silence hurt you. I know my inconsistency confused you. I know my fear created distance. I know my pride made things worse. And not everyone reaches that level of honesty quickly. The person you love has been fighting the consequences of their own choices. They may not say it out loud, but there are moments when conviction hits them. There are moments when they realize that they let fear speak louder than love. There are moments when they understand that their silence was not strength, it was avoidance. Their distance was not peace, it was protection. Their confusion was not harmless, it left someone else carrying pain, questions, and emotional weight they never should have had to carry alone. My child, I need you to hear this clearly. Their fear is real, but it is not your responsibility to fix it. You are not called to rescue them from their own emotional paralysis. You are not called to carry the entire burden of the connection. You are not called to keep proving your love while they hide behind fear. You are not called to chase someone into honesty. You are not called to beg for clarity from a heart that keeps choosing silence over courage. If they return, they must return with truth. If they speak, they must speak with honesty. If they want another chance, there must be accountability, not just emotion. If they miss you, they must learn how to value your peace more than their comfort. Because my child, missing you is not enough if they are still unwilling to change. Thinking about you is not enough if fear still controls their actions. Wanting to return is not enough if they are only coming back because loneliness grew louder than their pride. A true return is not just emotional. It is transformed. It carries humility. It carries clarity. It carries responsibility. This is why I need you to be careful in this season. Because when someone begins to feel your absence deeply, they may reach out before they are truly ready. They may return because they miss your presence, not because they have confronted the patterns that broke the connection. They may come back because they feel lonely, not because they have grown. They may want access to your comfort while still lacking the maturity to protect your heart. Do not confuse movement with change. A message is not always repentance. An apology is not always transformation. A return is not always readiness. A confession is not always consistency. This is why you must stay close to me. I know what is changing in them, and I know what is not. I know whether their heart is being softened or whether they are simply uncomfortable. I know whether they are ready to tell the truth or whether they still want the benefits of connection without the cost of accountability. I know whether they are being led by conviction or by fear of losing access to you forever. And I will show you the difference, if you let me. My child, the enemy loves fearful hearts because fear delays what honesty could heal. Fear keeps people silent when they should speak. Fear keeps them distant when they should take responsibility. Fear convinces them that avoiding the issue is safer than facing it. Fear tells them, if you stay quiet, maybe the pain will fade on its own. If you do nothing, maybe you will not have to deal with the consequences. If you pretend it does not matter, maybe your heart will stop caring. But fear is a liar. Fear does not heal what it avoids. Fear does not repair what it damaged. Fear does not restore trust. Fear does not build love. Fear only delays the moment truth finally demands to be faced. And for some of you listening, the person you love is in that exact battle right now. They are standing at the edge of a decision. They feel the urge to reach out, but fear keeps whispering in their ear. Fear tells them they will be rejected. Fear tells them you are done. Fear tells them they do not know what to say. Fear tells them it is too late. Fear tells them to stay where it is safe, even if safe means miserable, regretful, and stuck. But I am not finished dealing with their heart. I know how to expose fear. I know how to confront pride. I know how to disturb false peace. I know how to make silence uncomfortable. I know how to awaken what they tried to suppress. I know how to bring them face to face with the truth of what they feel, what they lost, and what their avoidance has cost. If this connection still belongs in your future, I know how to move them out of hiding and into honesty. But my child, I need to speak to your heart too, because while they are battling fear, you have been battling something of your own, uncertainty. Uncertainty has exhausted you. It has made you question everything. It has made you replay the story from every angle, looking for clues, trying to figure out whether the silence means it is over or whether it is only temporary. Uncertainty has tempted you to lower your standards just to get an answer. It has tempted you to settle for a little attention because the waiting has become so heavy. It has tempted you to believe that any movement is better than no movement at all. But I am calling you higher than that. Do not let the fear in them create fear in you. Do not let their confusion become your identity. Do not let their inability to communicate train you to accept less than clarity. Do not let your longing for this person become greater than your trust in me. I know you want them to return. I know part of you still hopes for the message, the apology, the explanation, the breakthrough. I know part of you still imagines what it would feel like to hear them finally say the words you have been waiting for. But do not make an idol out of the possibility. Because if you worship the return, you may ignore the condition of the heart that is returning. If you become too attached to the idea of reconciliation, you may miss the warning signs I am trying to show you. If you decide in advance that you will accept them back no matter what, you may reopen a door I am asking you to examine carefully. My child, if they come back, listen to more than their emotions. Listen for ownership. Listen for honesty. Listen for humility. Listen for consistency. Listen for evidence that they understand the pain they caused and are willing to do the work required not to repeat it. Do not just ask, do they still love me? Ask, have they learned how to love responsibly? Do not just ask, do they miss me? Ask, are they capable of protecting my peace this time? Do not just ask, will they return? Ask, if they return, will the foundation be different? That matters. Because there are some people who return with tears but not transformation. They return with emotion but not endurance. They return with regret but not responsibility. They return because they miss how you made them feel, but not because they have truly become safe enough to hold what they once dropped. I do not want you back in the same cycle with a different speech. I do not want you receiving the same confusion wrapped in nicer words. I do not want you mistaking guilt for growth. I do not want you calling it a miracle when it is simply a temporary emotional wave. I want truth for you. I want peace for you. I want a love that does not keep forcing you to question where you stand. I want a relationship that honors both your heart and my wisdom. My child, the person you love is not emotionless. They are not untouched. They are not as unaffected as they seem. There are nights when your memory becomes difficult to ignore. There are moments when they wonder what would happen if they reached out. There are moments when they check, watch, think, hesitate, type, erase, and withdraw. There are moments when they almost break the silence, but fear steps in again. Fear says, what if they do not want to hear from you? Fear says, what if you ruined it too badly? Fear says, what if they ask questions you cannot answer? Fear says, what if you have to explain yourself? Fear says, what if they moved on? Fear says, what if you are forced to face how much damage your silence caused? And so they hesitate. Some of them are carrying guilt. Some are carrying pride. Some are carrying shame. Some are carrying unresolved pain from their past. Some are carrying the habit of shutting down when things become too real. Some are carrying a deep fear of vulnerability because love has never felt safe to them. That does not mean they should have handled you the way they did. It does not excuse the inconsistency. It does not erase the impact on your heart. But it does explain why they are not moving as simply as you wish they would. And this is why I need you to stop blaming yourself for their fear. Their walls were not created by your lack of worth. Their silence was not proof that you were too much. Their hesitation was not a sign that you were hard to love. Their emotional immaturity was not a reflection of your value. Do not turn their struggle into a story about your inadequacy. My child, I am teaching you something powerful in this season. Love should not require you to abandon yourself. Love should not require constant guessing. Love should not require you to carry all the emotional labor. Love should not require you to beg for basic clarity. Love should not require you to become smaller, quieter, easier, or less honest just to avoid scaring someone away. If the person you love returns, they must return to the real you, not to a version of you that has been reduced by heartbreak and fear. They must meet the healed you, the honest you, the discerning you, the version of you that no longer accepts crumbs and calls them a feast. So while they are battling fear, I need you to keep growing. Grow in peace. Grow in boundaries. Grow in wisdom. Grow in patience. Grow in discernment. Grow in your ability to tell the difference between true change and temporary emotion. Because if I bring them back, I do not want you receiving them from the same wounded place where you once tolerated confusion. I want you strong enough to recognize whether what is returning is truly from me, or whether it is just a familiar chapter trying to reopen before it has been redeemed. My child, I also need you to understand this. Sometimes I allow distance not to punish you, but to reveal what is hidden. Distance reveals who values you enough to fight through fear. Distance reveals who only wanted convenience. Distance reveals who is willing to confront themselves and who would rather stay comfortable in avoidance. Distance reveals whether someone's feelings are deep enough to become action, or whether they only live in the imagination. And yes, for many of you, this person's feelings are becoming harder for them to ignore. The very distance they thought would make things easier has become the thing exposing how much they still care. The silence they thought would protect them has become the place where regret grows louder. The time they thought would numb everything has become the mirror showing them what they lost through fear. But again, my child, do not let that knowledge make you impatient. Do not rush to open the door just because you sense movement. Do not reach for them before they are willing to reach honestly for you. Do not interrupt the work I am doing by trying to force the outcome yourself. If I am dealing with their heart, let me deal with it fully. Let me expose what needs exposing. Let me confront what needs confronting. Let me break the pride that still resists truth. Let me heal the wound that keeps turning love into fear. Let me test whether their desire to return is strong enough to become action, honesty, and change. You do not need to chase what I can summon. You do not need to beg for what I can reveal. You do not need to force what I can either restore, or remove. That is the part one need you to trust. Because sometimes the miracle is their return. And sometimes the miracle is your release from a cycle that kept you emotionally starving. Sometimes the breakthrough is reconciliation. And sometimes the breakthrough is finally seeing clearly that someone's love for you was not mature enough to become the future you were praying for. Either way, I will not waste your pain. I can use this story to sharpen your discernment. I can use this story to teach you what your heart truly needs. I can use this story to expose the difference between longing and alignment. I can use this story to break your attachment to inconsistency and make you hunger for peace. So do not fear the outcome, my child. Fear is already doing enough damage in their heart. Do not let it rule yours too. If they are meant to return, I know how to bring them back with conviction. I know how to make them speak. I know how to make avoidance uncomfortable. I know how to turn buried emotion into honest action. I know how to humble pride. I know how to reveal the cost of silence. I know how to bring them to the place where fear no longer gets the final word. But if they are not meant to return in a way that honors you, I know how to close the door without closing your future. I know how to heal what they stirred up. I know how to restore what confusion weakened. I know how to free your heart from someone you loved deeply but could not trust safely. My child, the next part matters. Do not let someone's potential keep you attached to their patterns. Potential can be seductive. It can make you say, "But I know who they could be." It can make you cling to glimpses instead of reality. It can make you fall in love with what someone almost gave, what they almost said, what they almost became. But almost is not the same as ready. Almost is not the same as safe. Almost is not the same as consistent. You cannot build a future on potential alone. You need truth. You need effort. You need emotional responsibility. You need someone who can stay present when things become real, not someone who disappears every time vulnerability demands courage. So if they return, do not rush. Pray. Watch. Listen. Discern. Notice whether their actions match their words. Notice whether they are willing to answer hard questions. Notice whether they respect the boundaries created by the pain they caused. Notice whether they want true reconciliation, or just relief from missing you. There is a difference. My beloved child, I know this message touches a tender place in you. I know part of your heart lights up at the possibility that they still care. I know part of you feels relief hearing that their silence does not mean you were forgotten. But I also know that hope can become dangerous if it is not surrendered. So surrender even this. Surrender the timing. Surrender the outcome. Surrender the version of the story you keep replaying. Surrender the fantasy of how it should happen. Surrender the need to know everything before I reveal it. Put the person you love back into my hands. If they belong in your life, I am more than able to bring them back the right way. If fear is blocking them, I know how to break its hold. If pride is blocking them, I know how to humble it. If guilt is blocking them, I know how to confront it. If confusion is blocking them, I know how to expose it. If they truly love you but do not know how to return, I know how to lead them. And if they are not the one I intend for your future, I know how to free you with a peace deeper than closure. That is my promise to you. I will not leave you trapped in confusion forever. I am not a God of chaos. I am not a God of endless emotional guessing. I am not a God who asks you to live at the mercy of another person's silence. I will reveal what needs to be revealed. I will expose what needs to be exposed. I will heal what needs to be healed. I will close what needs to be closed. And I will restore what is truly mine to restore. So breathe, my child. The person you love may want to return, and yes, fear may be stopping them right now. But their fear does not outrank my power. Their silence does not outrank my wisdom. Their hesitation does not outrank my timing. And your future will not be destroyed by someone else's inability to act quickly. I am bigger than their fear. I am bigger than their pride. I am bigger than the silence. I am bigger than the distance. I am bigger than the confusion. I am bigger than every delay standing between what is broken and what can still be redeemed. So tonight, stop carrying this alone. Give me the ache. Give me the questions. Give me the hope. Give me the disappointment. Give me the fear that you will be forgotten. Give me the temptation to chase. Give me the part of you that wants answers so badly that it is tempted to settle for half-truths. Lay it down. I am still working behind the scenes. I am still dealing with hearts. I am still exposing motives. I am still testing what is real. I am still protecting you from what would reopen the same wound without bringing true healing. And when the truth comes, whether through reunion or release, you will know that I did not ignore your tears. I was leading you through them. Until then, my beloved child, remember this. If they are meant to return, I know how to bring them back with honesty. If they are not, I know how to lead you forward with peace. And in both outcomes, I will take care of you.